All right, so let's start off with some of our co-host lists here that they submitted to me for top five. We say music, but it's really should be albums. But not everyone submitted some albums. I got some lists of some singles from a couple of our co-hosts as well here. But I mean, that's how it goes these days. I mean, singles are kind of what goes around. I feel like for the most part, people don't really take the time, invest the time into listening to full projects, I guess, as much anymore. Or maybe there are things that aren't worth mentioning. So I know one person in particular, Lewis's list here that I'm about to give you here. I think he's just more of like the occasional like radio listener and kind of listener of maybe certain songs over Spotify, but not to the point where I think he's listening to full albums of music. Usually he gives us like single songs, I believe, for the most part too.
Yeah.
So get ready for this, guys. Get ready for me to butcher a lot of these names. So there's all some Spanish shit to knowing Craig. That's what he listens to. Okay.
Some Spanish shit.
Coming in at number 5, Que Pasaria by Raul Alejandro and Bad Bunny. That's his boy, Bad Bunny.
You should be able to fucking roll your R's, bro. Come on, man. You can do it.
You want to read this list?
No.
Okay. Coming in at number 4, it says Plus 57 by Carol G, Feed, DFZM. Are these names? Ovi on the drums, J Balvin. I mean, good shout out to Lewis for actually writing this out. I know J Balvin, I've heard that name. Maluma, Ryan Castro, and Blessed. Coming in at number 4, and that's Blessed with BLESSD. I don't know if he just missed the E there, or that's how he says it.
Is it apostrophe D? Blessed.
Coming in at number 3, Corazon Roto by, I'm sorry guys if I'm butchering all these. Bray, I'm sure this is why he did this. He just put a bunch of Spanish.
That's what I was thinking in my head, to
Bray,
be honest.
Jaco and Ryan Castro for Corazon Roto. All right. Coming in at number 2. You want me to roll it now? Roll the R's. Coming in at number 2. Si antes te hubiera. There you go. Oh, sorry. Te hubiera conocido by Carol G. Ooh.
You should feed them into Google and let Google replay them.
I know, right? And coming in at number 1, I need the AI for this. Vagabundo by Sebastian Yatra, Manuel Torizo, and Biel.
And Biel?
I think it's Spanish Bill. Biel. Beele. And he even has like, like over the E has like one of the.
That's something good.
All right, so once again, guys,
I only know the French word.
Let's run it down. Let's run it down again. He even said, though, good luck saying these names. Que Pasaria by Raul Alejandro and Bad Bunny. And then he got number coming at number 5. At number 4, Plus 57 by Carol G, Feed, DFZM, Ovi on the drums, J Balvin, Maluma, Ryan Castro, and Bless. There's like 8 people on this song. What's going on that song? I don't know what's going on there. Did he put the producers on this shit too? Coming in at number 3, Corazon Roto by Bray, Jaco, and Ryan Castro. Number 2, Si antes tu hubiera conocido by Carol G. And Vagabundo coming in at number 1, his big hit of the season here, JF 2024.
Well, he's got his songs in there too.
Sebastian Yatra, Manuel Torizo, and Biel on Vagabundo. That's Lewis's top 5 singles of the year, guys. Right there. That's his favorite music. You like that?
Yeah. The other ones were albums or no?
No, there's no albums.
It was just honorables.
No honorables, no albums. These guys, they like to do whatever they want with these lists.
I was wondering what was going on.
All right, coming in at number 5. This is Leslie's top 5 for music. The only list she actually submitted to me this year. We got her for top 5 singles, I guess, as well this year. And if you want to hear what she had to say about it, because I asked her if there was any albums, she said she hasn't heard a single album in a very long time that was a complete work of art. Apparently, those are the only things that makes Leslie's list is complete works of art. Jay, I don't know if you knew that. Except the Eminem and Missionary albums, which for whatever reason were on this list that she submitted to me, but she kind of gave a shout out to them. So there you go. Eminem's album from this year and the new Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre produced Missionary album that came out.
Yeah,
so,
just under the wire.
Yeah, so there you go. But on her list, though, coming in at number 5, we got Place, Snoop, and Dr. Dre Out of the Blue. Sorry, 5th place. I just read the place. part of the name. So 5th place, you got Snoop and Dr. Dre Out of the Blue is her number 5 on her list. Okay.
Out of the Blue.
4th place, Eminem, Lucifer. Okay, the song Lucifer by Eminem.
Okay.
Coming in at third place, Out of My Mind by Cassius Culpepper.
Oh, that's the one she sent to me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You
Yeah.
like that jam?
That I mean, yeah,
The country?
it's different. It's
Okay.
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, it was a good song. That's the one that I had my cry fest with her with.
Okay. Coming in at number 2, we got Believer by Liam St. John. And coming in at number 1, Worst Way by Riley Green.
That's a good jam too.
Yeah. So there you go. That's our number 1 song. So once again, for Leslie's top 5 songs that came out this year, we got 5th place, not place Snoop and Dre. It's 5th place, Snoop and Dr. Dre, Out of the Blue. There you go. Coming in at 4th place, Eminem, Lucifer. Coming in at 3rd place, Out of My Mind by Cassius Culpepper. Coming in at 2nd, Believer by Liam St. John. And coming in at 1st, Worst Way by Riley Green. Those are Leslie's, or other co-hosts in Late Night Chat's top 5 singles of the year, I guess, music that she's listened to and enjoyed this year. So there you go.
Nice.
And finally, we have a list from Julie. So Julie wanted to bust out this disclaimer for her albums that came out this year, which I feel like she usually has to include. She says, disclaimer, my particular taste in music, especially my top picks, is misaligned to our viewers' typical music taste. So most, if not all, of my picks will be completely foreign. So I wanted to explain that to you guys because I feel like even amongst the hosts, although I would say musical taste, we all have different musical tastes, and that's the beauty of music, right? So
that's what the thing is. Yeah.
For any of you guys out there that may have seen Julie on the show, these are her top 5 favorite albums. That's right. She put albums, not just singles, I believe here, that came out this year. And I know she's really into music, just again, more music, like she says, that we all don't listen to collectively, or maybe that she assumes our viewers don't. But anyways, we do have some honorable mentions here as well. I believe these are all albums. We got, maybe they're singles as well. Brat by Charlie XCX. I think that's her album. I know she's very popular right now, Charlie XCX. That whole Brat thing is like a movement, whatever, that everyone say, this is Brat, that's Brat. Windblown by Danger. We got Excessive Guilt by Throne. Whale by Sophie Hunter. Okay, those are your 4 honorable mentions that didn't make her top 5 albums that came out the year. She wrote albums, so I'm assuming these are albums. So that's once again Brat by Charlie XCX, Windblown by Danger, Excessive Guilt by Throne, and Whale by Sophie Hunter. Coming in number 5 on our list, though, we got Replica by Dayseeker. I've heard her talk about that band before, so I'm not surprised at that one. I believe I've heard her talk about that one. Coming in at number 4, American Motorsports by Bill Murray. His name's Bill Murray, but it's all one word. Bilmuri. Bill Murray. I don't know if that's on purpose or what.
Oh, I see Sophie Hunter here.
Yeah. Is that her album name? Whale?
Whale is got to be. Yeah, I don't see it under.
Okay. Yeah. But that's a cool name for an album, American Motorsports.
Yeah. Oh, Whale, W. Yeah. AIL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an album.
So there you go. These are all albums. So check these out, guys, if you're interested in discovering some new music and are familiar with these.
I love Spotify for
Coming in at number 3, we got Sleepyhead by Jutes. Yeah, I thought that was going to be Jules, but it's Jutes, Jutes, Sleepyhead. Coming in at number 2, Life by Witches. That's cool how they spelled that. Witchz. There you go, Life by Witches. And coming in at number 1 for Julie's favorite albums that came out this year, How to Disappear by Casey. There you go. So let's give it another rundown, or top 5 of Julie's. Once again, Replica by Dayseeker coming in at number 5. Cool. Coming in at number 4, American Motorsports by Bill Murray. Coming in at number 3, Sleepyhead by Jules. Coming in at number 2, Life by Witches. And coming in at number 1, How to Disappear by Casey for Julie's top 5 albums of the year.
How to Disappear.
And I don't think Rob submitted anything to me for albums.
That actually makes sense with Julie, How to Disappear. She's very good at that.
You're just taking your shots here today, eh?
I love fucking year-end reviews, bro, because year-end reviews you can, right? I don't have anybody fucking commenting on me on the chat. They don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Come at me later. Come at me, boys.
Rob's the only thing Rob put for music this year was Benson Boone, Beautiful Things.
Benson Boone,
Beautiful Things. I'm guessing maybe that's a single. I don't know. I'll look it up when you get started here, if you want to go ahead, Jay.
Oh, Benson Boone is a person.
Yeah, but it's a song. Yeah, Beautiful Things is a song, I believe. I don't know if that's his album. So there you go. That's under Rob's music category for this year of what he wanted to mention.
Nice.
Cool. All right, Jay, why don't you get us started here with your top 5 albums of 2024? Any honorable mentions for you?
Well, I mean, you know me, bro. When it comes to music, I'm a whore, right? When it comes to a lot of music, but the problem is that yeah, this year I've been, I've been dipping. So a lot of honorable mentions. Still gonna go to my. I've been listening to a lot of fucking country music this year. I've been listening to a lot of 60s and 70s, like I always do. That's always the music to go to because when you're at work, you got to put something that gets other people happy. When I start putting hip hop all day long, yeah, it makes me happy, but other people don't take it so fucking I work in an environment where you got to kind of keep it civil in a sense. I don't mean like in a bad way, but you got to keep it where everybody's going to like the music, everybody gets along. And, if I keep putting hip hop on all year, they're going to be chasing me out of the warehouse. Right. So,
right.
Yeah, if I start playing Eminem nonstop, like, I mean, even if Eminem comes on, they fucking, okay, that's enough. One song is enough for them, or they can't understand it. So I get it. Some of the younger people, no problem, but I don't work with all the youngest people in the world anymore. I ain't one of them either myself, but yeah, even though I pretend I'm 20, guys, I'm not really 20. But so those would be like more of an honorable mentions. A lot of the country, the new stuff that I've listened to, I've never gotten to a whole album. Like songs and stuff like that, I would give honorable mentions to Josh Ross and a lot of the
I mentioned some artists you like this year, anyways, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of new ones that have come out that where's my likes list, because that has a Teddy Swims. There's a bunch of them that I've been listening to this year, right? Obviously Chris Stapleton, Josh Turner. There's a few of them that those ones I like to give honorable mentions to, but I don't know if they've actually come out with full albums this year. I wanted to give one to that they put out an album of old stuff from Bob Dylan this year, and revamped and stuff like that, right? Which was pretty nice to hear after such a long time of not hearing anything, to be honest with you, from him. So it's very refreshing that people are could take a different. I know there's a movie coming out, and I think that's the big reason why. But at the end of the day, it's nice to know that people are thinking about it, right? But yeah, I got those. What I got for really honorable mentions. I don't really have a lot of music in a sense of full albums that came out. When it comes to country, when it comes to that, I just started getting into it right young. A lot of the younger stuff, the new people, right? Which is I've been wanting to do for a while, because I was taking a trip down the memory lane with fucking a lot of the old stuff, like the original Outlaws, like Waylon Jennings and stuff like that, right? So I wanted to get into some of the newer artists and stuff, because I do like some of their music, right? A lot of these country westerns. I mean, fuck, I'm going to a country, 2 of them already in the fucking new year, bro.
Right.
I mean, so I've had to adjust. I've been doing this whole adjustment thing, which is kind of cool. Taking a trip down memory lane in a sense.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I just wish I explored more types of different genres of music, or were interested.
Well, they don't even know what kind of person I am. When it comes to the rap, they have no idea what to classify me at there, because I have so much different shit I listen to. They tend to not, because when
it comes to the Spotify Wrapped, you mean?
Yeah, when it comes to Spotify Wrapped, right? Like that's where I get most of my music from, guys. I used to fucking get it illegally, in a sense, you know what I mean? Just fucking streaming it from somewhere. But you know what? I pay for my Spotify now. I like to have the Spotify where it's at the palm of my hand, and I don't have to worry about it, because music is my life in that sense.
Yeah.
I relate a lot of shit to music, so that's why I like to go back into a lot of old stuff. I mean, even stuff that I've never even listened to before, in a sense. And I always give something a listen. If it's not for me, it's not for me, right? So, but
music, I feel like every time we talk about this category every year, it's just like I always find everything comes out. A lot of hip hop specifically comes out in the last quarter. Like all the really good things that have come out during the year are usually few and far between, at least for me. And then in the last quarter of the year, we get all these albums. So then when we usually do our year-end wrap-ups, like there's an album I'm not even going to be mentioning as part of my list right now, since we're talking about honorable mentions, I will bring it up, is the Missionary album. I've barely listened to it. It just came out a week. It came out a week before we recorded this, right? And I'm sure it's fantastic because it's Dre produced, and it's just like
the beats are great.
Of course,
I'll tell you that much.
Dre does not put out trash. No. You know what I mean? So like every time,
and his name is on every song, so it's not going to be trash.
Exactly. So I guarantee you guys that would have made my top 5 if I listened to it more. I listened to like 2 songs. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be in my top 5, but I do want to throw that disclaimer out here. It probably would have been if I had time to listen to it. I just haven't, right? Like between all the shows we do here, guys, we've been doing wrap-up shows about best of things. Honestly, the last 2 weeks, like I've been doing these shows. So like, it's like my mind is focused on everything that I've enjoyed this year so much that I can't even enjoy things that are coming out in the moment, like while we're recording these things, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I can't, because I'm going back and reviewing all these things in my mind.
Yeah. Right? Oh, of course.
So, and like Jay was mentioning to me today or the other night, sometimes things come out early in the year and you completely forget about it. There's lots of great things that came out in January of last year that the whole year will go by. And unless you start looking into it again, like for the purposes of what we do for this show, you can forget about a lot of early releases, man, in a given year. And then I feel like there's a drought. Honestly, after the Kendrick Drake beef throughout the summer, I wasn't really, I don't feel it was a really hot summer for hip hop as far as I'm concerned. Like, and then in the winter, we get all these great stuff coming out in the last quarter. And it's just like, I just really haven't spent a lot of time with a lot of this stuff. And also every year that we've been doing this category, there's been a lot of years where I'm barely scraping together a top 5, because as much as I don't really branch out and listen to other genres of music, I still listen to hip hop primarily, but I also don't listen to that much hip hop anymore as much as I used to. Like I did, there's still 10 to 20 albums I probably listened to this year. But I mean, the pool.
That's still more than I did. Bro.
Sure. But the pool that I'm kind of grabbing from or like really sticking with album wise throughout the year is way less than years previous. Right. So anyway, so for honorable mentions in no order, I want to mention.
I mean, I still had the honorable mentions. I still hadn't thrown out there.
Oh, I thought you just
No,
did.
I did through some, but I had a couple like actual albums that I wanted to throw out there, which was The Missionary, like yourself, right? Because I haven't listened to it enough. I also wanted to throw out the A Bougie with a Hoodie, bro. It came out earlier in the year too.
Oh, A Boogie with the
I always say Bougie, bro. I don't know why.
But then Boogie, you call them Bougie too. I don't understand.
It's fucked, bro. It's fucked. It's a hard word because it's got the 2 O's. Yeah. So
A Boogie with the Hoodie. Yeah. He came out with an album this year.
Earlier this year, Better Off Alone. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that was all right. That was, it wasn't bad. I throw that on there for an honorable mention. The T Grizzly one. What the fuck was it called?
Post-traumatic, which is also in my honorable mentions. Yeah. Honestly, I really wanted to put this in my top 5. It's probably like number 6. I really like this album. Like I've always liked T Grizzly, as you know, but this album is probably one of his most solid projects that he put out yet. It's a shame he couldn't make it in my top 5. Like I said, it's probably number 6 for me. So it's right there this year.
No, I hear you.
It's a solid album. I think it's like a really good effort on his part. Like he really, there's a couple of songs at the end of the album that he's been doing a series of where he tells like a story, like it's an ongoing story, these robbery songs. I think he does 7 and 8 on these ones, so he's been doing them for a while. I think it's Robbery 7 and Robbery 8 right at the end of this album. And Robbery 7 and like the last song is like 12 minutes or something like that long. It's like a long ass song, like, so he's just telling this long ass story 8 minutes of like him like in these scenarios, like where he's a character in a story essentially, and it's called Robbery because he's like doing all these crimes and doing all this kind of stuff in between, like this, like, and you kind of follow him through this storyline of what's going on with him, and he raps it all. So it's really impressive, and like he had some good features on this album. He had that J. Cole song, which I thought was awesome. Like that J. Cole song is great. J. Cole just killed it on as always, like on features this year. Just a great feature artist this year. He has a song with 42 Doug called Detroit. Of course, they're both Detroit rappers. This Baby Grizzly song called Pop Shit, that was really good. And so was this what's it called? Blow for Blow with him and Cole. Great stuff. Like it was a really solid album. The beats were good too, right, Jay? I know you like beats. Like that was a pretty good produced album.
That was, you know what I mean? It just like you said, it didn't make the top the top 5 because I remember some of the stuff that came out earlier in the year, which I totally forgot about.
Right.
Right, which were things that'll be more likely would have
Top
been in my
5.
top 5. Yeah.
Any other honorable mentions for you then?
Mm, besides all those fucking Drake songs that were coming out back and
Yes.
forth with the beefs, yeah, really, other than that, not much for honorable mentions. They never actually that I can remember. Or he must.
I'm interested to hear if this made your actual list. Then don't answer that question right now. But maybe that's why it didn't make your honorable mentions. I'm surprised. It made my honorable mentions. Maybe it's coming in at number 7. I said no order, but now as I'm going through these, I'd probably put the Post Traumatic by T Grizzly at number 6. Number 7, probably Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator.
That's I'll let you know where that.
Okay, all right. I the last two albums that this guy has put out have been in my top 5s, high ranking in my top 5s. Those have both come out in the period of us doing this show. Igor and the other one, Call Me If You Get Lost. Both were amazing albums. This one is still good too, but I haven't, I think, listened to it still enough for it to go lower in my top 5, into my top 5, but it's in my honorable mentions. Like I said, it's probably there at number 7. There's some really good songs on this album. I love Tyler the Creator though. He's honestly, hence the name, very creative always with his approach, not only in the look of the album, the videos, his rollout, the things that he does in terms of like his experimentation with his music. Very interesting artist. Honestly, I've always loved his stuff. More so in these last few years, though. Like I've always thought he was interesting, but I never really was as big of a fan of his for his first half of his career. But honestly, like this second part of his career, like the last 4 albums, have all been very, very good stuff. So yeah. I always look forward to that. Also, Lloyd Banks, for the first time, I think in like 2 or 3 years, did not make it into my top 5. But yeah, I'll put him in there at number 8.
I forgot about that one.
Halloween Havoc. Yeah, he came out with an album called Halloween Havoc, the last one that he put out, the most recent one that he put out this year. So I guess I put him there as well. And 38 Special is always an artist. Him and like Benny the Butcher type stuff. They did a Stabbed and Shot, which is number 2. They had this mixtape that was called Stabbed and Shot, where it was both of them on there, which was very good. And that's really where I discovered 38 Special was during the time that Benny the Butcher was getting really big. And he puts out like, I don't know, like there's like 5 different projects I think he put out this year. This guy puts out like a crazy amount of music. And there's a bunch of tapes that he put out this year when he was doing music with other artists as well. And him and Benny got back together and did a tape, which is a sequel to their tape that I really like, Stabbed and Shot too.
Yeah, you were told me about the special one.
Yeah. So those, he's also in my honorable mentions this year. So yeah, some good stuff, honestly. That I really enjoyed. But why don't you start us off with your number 5 here on your list?
So I kind of, this is where I had an iffy one because I wanted to fit the Tyler Creator in there. Right. I did. And the problem was I didn't have anyone that I really wanted to release from my top 5. So I kind of blended it in with
split tied for number 5.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have to give it a tie.
I'll allow
because I think the Crossroads with Corday is got between those 2 albums there. I had a hard time because I really like Tyler the Creator, but I'm also, because of Nico, I'm a big fucking fan of Corday too. And
we're going to see him in the new year.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's I'm actually dying to go see that concert. That's one that I've kind of wanted to see live. I'm hoping it's not going to disappoint me as much as the Joyner one did, in a sense, because I think the audience ruined it for us.
Yes.
Very much so, because they kept wanting the ADHD album, and I understand, because I wanted an ADHD tour here in Canada, but we didn't get one. And I think people were a little pissy about that.
Yes.
And it just didn't make for a good scene.
The vibe was off at the concert. We've talked about it on Late Night
He
Chat.
literally got pissed.
Yes.
So that's where I feel like I'm hoping this album.
I would not be surprised if he didn't come here the next album.
We gave him
after that showing. I think it was a pretty bad vibe in that crowd that day. It was off.
Yeah.
And I don't think he
didn't play it right either.
No.
He came out in a Boston fucking jersey.
Yeah.
That was the worst, because I think it was during.
We just lost. I think.
It was during playoff time, and it was not a good time to be wearing a Boston jersey.
If we hadn't lost yet, we knew that we were going to face them, and it was not.
But good. You know what? He's a Boston person.
He's a Boston guy, though.
So I mean, he can pull
do
that
what
off.
he wants. It's just like, listen,
catering not to your catering to your audience.
Well, here's the thing. All I can say is, when I went to see Mac Miller, rest in peace, years ago, I went to that concert with Peter. He came out in a Leafs jersey. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. There you go, right? I mean,
you got to play
Canadian.
for your audience.
Yeah,
Joe.
he's not Canadian, right? He came out in a Leafs jersey, so there's the difference, I guess. But anyways, yeah, Joyner came out with the Boston
when
jersey.
you're from fucking Boston, you know what? Anybody, especially after a playoff, regardless if you like hockey or not,
he's from Pittsburgh, so I mean Mac Miller, but he was from Pittsburgh, so you know.
I mean, he could have pulled out, but no, there's no rivalry there. It was the
Penguins,
rivalry
no.
between Boston and Toronto. That's the fucking problem.
That's right.
You know, they probably beat him off the stage if he did that in Montreal. So I wouldn't be surprised.
But Chromacopia and Corday's album, The Crossroads,
yeah, those came in tight at my number 5.
I think that's good. Those are both really good albums,
right?
But yeah, like I said, Chromacopia. Like I think there's
a lot of crazy beats on it.
There is. I like the album. Like I said, it's still in my top 10 technically.
I'd like to see some more videos from this album if he can pull some off. There's albums that I know he can pull off because he's very creative that way. I'm just waiting for them to come out. Hopefully they roll out in the new year. You know, do it like a proper way. Don't do it like in what I say, like a Joyner way, where you do, because this is where my fucking problem lies now, right? Because of my list and where it's going, right?
Okay.
Because
yeah.
Am I still going with my list now here?
No. I would do my number 5 now. Okay. All right, so that's your number 5. Okay, this might shock you, Jay. This might shock you coming in at number 5. But I gotta be true to myself, and it still made my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it would.
Mm-hmm.
That's Eminem's "The Death of Slim Shady" coming in at number 5. Yeah, you know why? Can I tell you why?
I don't know why. You're gonna tell me why. Though.
This hit me. It's in my top 5. Mm-hmm. I still like the album. Mm-hmm. This hit me at a weird time where I wasn't really wanting to listen to this album when it came out for whatever reason.
You took forever to listen to it, bro.
And then when I kind of came around and finally listened to it because I was trying to savor the moment kind of passed. And then I was just like, and it didn't hit me the same. No, I'm being honest with you.
No, I hear you. I totally get it.
Because it was one of those things where I kept telling Jay, and you know, he wants to talk to me about it, come on the show and talk about it because we were talking about it. And what did it come out in the summer? It came out in the summer, right? Or just June, at the start of the summer.
June, if I'm not mistaken, the month.
You know, and then of course we got our other co-host that won't shut up about it, Leslie, with you and Leslie going on about it. I think she came on the show and talked with you about it. The show that we were supposed to come on and talk about it, you didn't make that show, and then I think I ended up being on with Max.
Okay.
Max and me did a show in the summer because you weren't able to make one of the rare times you weren't able to make the show.
It was in the hospital, I think, no? Or wasn't it that time?
I don't know. I don't think it was the hospital, or maybe it was that time. Maybe it was that
Could
time.
Have been after the OD.
But I think our conversation about it was prolonged as well, I want to say. So by the time I actually got around to listening to the album, it was a good album, but I had already seen all the promo for the album that he did. All the talk about the album that by the time I actually got around to listening to the album, I don't want to say I wasn't impressed because it's in my top 5. It's a really good album. It's actually one of his better albums that he's done in a while. Honestly, I would say. I just, you know, and also like the whole idea of him talking about like cancel culture type stuff. Like, is it expected of him to do that? Of course it is, but I don't know. Like, it seemed like low-hanging fruit for Eminem to go and do that in a way. Like, obviously he's going to do that because he's one of the only people who can still get away with it. But the fact that he's still approaching it in a clever way. You know what I mean? Like, he's still, the way he went about it in those songs, he's saying offensive shit, but then he's not saying offensive shit, but then he's
able to take it back by the split personality.
Right.
That he's coming off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
There's very few people that can pull that off, I think, in an entertaining way. And
he's having to have an argument in his own head with himself, literally.
Right.
I mean, that's the schizophrenic, really, at the end of the day. So
And I've said this to you before. In recent years, the only person Eminem is trying to outdo is himself. Like this guy.
So this makes sense, though, but when you think about it.
Right. He's in his own literal single lane. He is at this point in his career. He has nothing to prove to anybody anymore. He's really just trying to entertain himself. I think he did that with this album.
To be a grandfather.
Yeah, it's a fun album. Don't get me wrong. There's some really good tracks on there. I thought there was some good production on there as well. I think you had Dre on this album again. I think he produced some of the songs, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course.
So I liked it. I liked the album. it's coming in at number 5 because by the time I actually got around to listening to it, it didn't hit me, I feel like, in the same way. I wasn't able to enjoy it on that same level. I think that this is going to be one of those albums that somewhere down the line, even this next year, I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-listen to it.
I hope so.
And oh yeah, I will, of course. And because I haven't listened to it enough, I feel like in my estimation. And I'm going to be like, wow, I really missed the mark on this one in terms of like my ranking for this album this year. But I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest to you guys out there. I'd be faking it if I just like put it at number 1. I'm like, hey guys, I like Eminem. I gotta put him in at number 1. No, but for me, it didn't hit the same. I feel like as some of his other. You know what album did that with me? We've talked about this all the time. The Relapse album. When that album came out, I was like, this is a fucking weird album. And then I was like, this is the most genius album that he has done up to that point. I honestly thought that. And this is another concept album, this one.
But this is what
I love about Eminem. The concept albums, I love a good concept album. I just wasn't
prepared for it.
I wasn't there for it.
You weren't prepared for it at that moment.
Yeah,
I just don't think your mindset was there for the thing for what you were going to expect for it. But
so I wasn't able to appreciate it on that level. And like I said, you guys talked it to death. By the time I actually got around to listening to it, I felt like I already heard the album, but I never heard the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think you should take a listen to it
on my break.
Well, like in the new year or something, just to take a listen to it fresh and just to see in the beginning of the year, so it doesn't ruin anything else for you, and just go over it again and just decide, because I think it does tend to grow on a lot of people, right in that sense. So.
Like I said, made my top 5. It's at number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the death of Slim Shady. So there you go.
Nice.
All right, give us your number 4.
My number 4, bro, and it's gonna throw you off because I've listened to more stuff this year in that sense, but my number 4, and just come on squeeze under the radar too, is another one which was my Joyner album from the beginning of the year, because I fucking felt like I heard it all already, so it was no big surprise. I got to listen to it all in one shot and one time, and that's really all I really listened to it for this year, because honestly, with the way he released that album, I'm surprised it even made it onto my list this year. But I could not recognize it. But
it came out so early in the year, I almost forgot about it as well.
Well, we also had gone to the concert.
Right.
Also, the other thing was,
you had a bad vibe from the concert. What happened? Our experience.
That experience. Yeah. The way he rolled it out, I don't like the way he rolled it out. Same. Because he literally just put the fucking same album, the same songs on that album that he rolled out slowly each thing. And I know it's a good marketing scheme, and I know it's a good gimmick. I get it, and I'm grateful for the videos that he put out for each song. I love an artist that can put out a video for every song.
Great videos.
His production that way, he should win an award for that if he's doing it, because to be honest with you, that's something that you need. You should be winning a. What are the awards you win for the production of like short films or videos, like something that would put you in the it would be a Grammy.
Grammys,
right?
For music.
Yeah,
for videos
and stuff. Yeah. So I would say, give him that G if you want, because when it comes to videos, he's very, very good at the videos, what he does, and he makes the videos actually make sense to the music that he's writing, which not many artists do.
He writes a treatment for every single video that he does. He writes like a script, essentially, like for the video, and he casts his own friends a lot of the time.
Himself plays the character. Right?
Yeah, he writes like a whole description of the video, the idea of the video, like
and it makes it really fucking deep. It makes it deep. It makes you understand the song more, especially if you're a visual person like Nico is with watching the podcasts and stuff like that. When you're visual that way and at the same time listening to it, it really does. I like a music video can put you into the right mind state. It can ruin a fucking song for you, or it can make it golden to you. You know what I mean? In that sense. So I feel like I had to bring him in the list because of that reason. But because of that reason only, like I said, I had a bad vibe with the concert. Unfortunately, we had some shitty fans that were there too, and I understand the gripe that they had about it. But at the end of the day, it should have still been played better to I
think so,
to the audience.
Yeah, it was a bad showing for Toronto. Honestly, it was. Yeah.
And I mean, I would have thought it'd be more I thought it would have been more packed. I know it's a smaller place, but I thought it would have been crazier than it really was. But I think his opening artist really fucked it up.
I also think there were a lot of fans there that were introduced to his music by way of ADHD for the first time, and they were more into the emo rap aspect of some of his songs on that album, as opposed to the fact that Joyner does a bunch of different type of styles. Like he has bangers, he has thoughtful songs, he has love songs, he has, you know what I mean? Like he can do it all. He's a very well-rounded artist. And I feel like there was a specific type of fan that was there that was expecting a certain type of music from him.
I mean, I was that fan, but I'm also a fan of his
That's
other
what I'm
music
saying.
because of you.
We like everything he's really kind of done in
Yeah.
that respect,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like that was the problem, and I think he was somewhere else in terms of his presentation and the songs that he wanted to play, and the crowd was somewhere else completely.
Very
Like
much.
so I think the songs that were huge bangers that should have got a better reception from the crowd did not.
No.
And then the ones that he felt like maybe were behind him, or ones that, you know, maybe were part of the track list, but not the ones that he was really looking forward to doing, that were new and off of his new album. Like that were older and off of older album. Like those songs, those are the ones that got the big reception. And I think like it messed with his head a little bit.
Because
like,
he had a rollout. Like you seen the way he got out of the bed, like in the music
he
video.
He even had videos playing. There was a video element during the show. Like it was so like
to the concert itself, to that album itself.
Right.
But nobody was listening to that concept. They just wanted fucking ADHD fucking album songs because once he said that was it. The audience changed.
I mean, this guy jumped into the crowd and walked around in the crowd. Literally walked through the crowd. And like
Nico touched the fucking guy. Nico was like the fucking super fan. Like he was like one of those little schoolgirls that fucking, oh my god. Oh, it was great, man. It was really cool to see him jump down in the audience. You know, not too many artists can do that too either.
So like it was
he felt safe too, I guess. We're in Toronto, right?
Clearly. You know? That's what I'm saying. That crowd wasn't it, man. It was not a great crowd, in my opinion.
He only needed like 2 security guards to block him. Like, I mean, really, at the end of the day, he could have probably took out most of the guys.
He was rocking the vest too, if you recall.
Yeah. But he also had gold on. He also had a lot of shit on too, right? So you got to remember when people are jonesing, it doesn't matter who you are.
No, that's true.
You know, grab and go. But it was pretty cool, that part of it. Yeah, but
the album was good. The album was solid.
The album was, like I said, the only reason why I got it into my thing is because, like I said, I didn't get to listen to as much hip hop as I wanted to this year. Also because this album meant a lot to me because I went to go see the concert with Nico, and I couldn't let it go. Like I couldn't let it not. I didn't want to put it in an honorable mention. I wanted to make sure that it got its place on my list because it was at one point this year probably one of my most frequent listen to albums, right? So I have to go with that, like I said.
Well said. Coming in at my number 4, that was your number 4, is going to be Corday, The Crossroads. Mine's just one lower than you on the list here, and I think this is an excellent album. I think this is, well, not as good as his first album. I like this better than the last one that he put out.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my second favorite album of Corday's at this point, honestly. Because I'm just looking up because I'm forgetting, of course, all his album names here. The Lost Boy was my introduction to him, and is my favorite album by him still. The Lost Boy that came out in 2019. It may have even been my favorite album when we did that show, our first maybe year-end media review years ago. I know he was part of YBN prior to that. Like, if you look up his discography, I think he has music with them prior to releasing that album.
Yeah, that's where Jaden knows him from.
And then From a Bird's Eye View was okay. I liked a few songs off of that one. I think that maybe even made your list when it came out that year. Yeah. No, it came out 2022. Yeah. That one's not bad, but Crossroads is better than the last one that he did, From a Bird's Eye View, in my opinion.
Bird's Eye View is more because it had that grandmother.
More commercial,
stuff,
too.
Remember? It had some stuff about the grandmother songs and stuff, which
you really connected with.
Which really connected with me. I forget what the songs were called, but
that's right. But I think in the same way that those two albums had more personal songs and like hits, Crossroads has the perfect balance of it. I think this has a lot of really great personal songs as well too, but like,
and there's that throwback special to, like, you know, to the Bone Thugs.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. I caught that. Of course, that's why it's called the Crossroads, right?
Which is
beautiful. He has two really good features with Lil Wayne on here. Lil Wayne's really good with Corday. I don't know what that is, but he's really good with Corday. Like, he's like, both the features with Lil Wayne are great songs.
Well, I mean, even why the for whole YBN and stuff like that. I mean, Lil Wayne would fit in
That's
perfectly
true.
for that.
Yeah,
He is that type of.
that's true. Corday is just more of a lyricist now, though.
Yeah.
Not that Lil Wayne isn't,
No.
but his style is just. But they gel really well
Yeah,
together.
they work off each other.
Anderson .Paak is on 2 songs on here
Them,
too. Who
yeah.
I love Anderson .Paak. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
I first got introduced to him on the fucking Compton album that Dre produced years ago, and
Yeah.
now he just has a very distinct voice that I really like. He's great. Anderson .Paak is on 2 songs with him as well on this. Like some of these rappers he's rapping with are people you don't know. He has a song with Kanye West on this album. Juicy J, like these are like
big names.
Yeah. These are like
these aren't people that are just gonna jump on it for no reason.
No. He's very lyrical, but he also knows how to make a hit as well, like a banger type song. And I think it's the perfect balance on this album, honestly. Like there's a lot of.
But he is a storyteller. That's
absolutely. And I mean, if you followed his career and his life, like he's married now. He's kind of moved.
He's not a YBM. He's a mature person.
That's right.
He's not a little boy anymore.
That's what I mean. Which is funny because again, you went from the Lost Boy, where he's really just trying to find his way. Which that is the point of that album. Which I connected to that album in a huge way. That's what made me a fan for life. That album, honestly.
And I think maybe more in the next one with the bird's eye view. I think that was more of like because he lost somebody special to him and stuff like that. So you're getting it from the bird's eye view in a sense.
And that's the album that like is like a sophomore slump for a lot of artists, where people are like, oh, that wasn't as good as their first effort. And to be honest, I did think that, but for him to kind of come back 2 years later, because there was a gap of 3 years between the Lost Boy and From a Bird's Eye View. To come to follow up Bird's Eye View with this album, I honestly think his discography is really solid. Between those 3 albums, it's a great track record of albums of quality from Corday. So yeah, definitely check this out, guys, if you missed it. Like I said, me and Jay are going to watch him he's doing an album tour for the Crossroads. We're going to go watch it in the new year. Very much looking forward to that, and it's like in an intimate setting. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. So I think,
and hopefully it doesn't try. I just hope the people that are there listening to it are a little bit more mature than the ones that were at the Joyner Lucas.
I agree.
Concert, because honestly, it does make a difference when your crowd is not in there with you.
I remember Jay was looking around and he was kind of even in the moment.
I was getting a little pissed.
In the moment, you were like, because Jay was like, rapping with it and like listening to the songs and everything, like, but then he's looking around and he's like, what's going on? Like, no one really went crazy for that last song, like big songs, big songs, right? So I agree with you. I hope this concert experience is a better one. And I know.
I kept saying to Nico, I kept going, I think he's mad on stage.
And then I didn't see it. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Then like later in the show, I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like I noticed point, it.
He was like kind of like this.
Slammed the fucking door,
turned his back, and then he like walked off stage because this is like the interlude of one of his videos. Yeah. But they didn't go crazy for the song that he did leading into it. Yeah. And you could tell, like Joyner, if you've ever listened to him in an interview, I know we're going back to Joyner now, but if you've ever listened to an interview, he thinks very highly of himself in terms of his artistry.
Well, he's smart.
No, but that's what genius. I mean. No, but he knows he's good. He really thinks that he's not many artists, like some people are.
But humble. He dwells too much on the respect of these, of wanting respect from other people.
Right.
I mean, but I know the type of person.
But listen to his music, the ADHD, like there's a lot of shit that he talks about.
I can relate to that sense, right? Yeah.
So anyways, that's the Joyner's concert situation.
But that's what I'm saying. We're hoping the Corday isn't like that.
Concert.
I hope that it plays out better.
Okay, go ahead with your number 3 there, Jay.
You're gonna hate me, bro. But my number 3 is Kendrick.
That's okay.
GNX, bro.
That's okay.
So huddle up, bro. All right, because that album was fucking. That album kills it. That whole from beginning to end. I don't even know which ones to fucking tell you, bro. He's got such a variety of songs on there. I like the way he plays the snippets properly.
Yeah.
I like the little disses he throws out. He's fucking very lyrical. It's
a good album. No hate.
He doesn't even have any crazy artists that he needs to be on here with. He's got his own, like,
his artist though. She's his artist.
Dottie Six and stuff like that.
Lefty Gunplay. She's part of his group, anyways.
Lefty Gunplay. They have all these, as a Sheikah. What the fuck? They have a few people on there that,
not big names.
No, nothing crazy. Nah, and that's actually kind of good because then you get to learn and you get to listen to like, okay, well, who's this person? Maybe I can take a listen and see what they've done in the past and stuff like Peekaboo was a great song.
So let me tell you something.
G&X,
that was
bro.
the most annoying song I've ever heard when I first heard of Peekaboo, and then it grows. That's the thing
That's
about
what I
Kendrick. He's so annoying with some of his shit in his albums, but then like it gets stuck in your fucking head. That Peekaboo song, I was like, this is the most annoying song I've ever. Peekaboo.
Well, look at Max's one,
Peekaboo.
TV, yeah. The TV off, bro. You know that's annoying
TV
too.
off is no TV off is great.
Yeah, but it takes a little bit to kind of yeah. It takes a little bit to
Trust me, I don't want to like the album. It's a good album.
It's hard because I don't even remember. Did even Drake drop anything this year?
No, no album.
No,
no
and,
album.
and no retaliation
no
album, nothing
this year. He's had a lot of shit going on in his life.
Well,
that's no excuse. He really should have dropped something. I agree, but
I think he should have fucking.
But let me ask you something though. This is not the best time for him to drop an album. He lost that battle. Like,
he did.
Right?
He lost it. I hate to say it.
I hate to say it myself. I don't have to like it. To like it, but he lost that battle.
Yeah, we are Toronto boys, and I hate to say it because we're not allowed. We're not allowed in Compton.
In some respects, yeah, we're already not allowed in Compton.
So I'm hoping that this being my number 3, that maybe we can be allowed back in because we've already been told that we're not allowed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly.
Oh, it's a good album. It's a good fucking album.
Yeah. If I'm going through Compton, this is the album I'm pumping. Rice. I don't care what I mean. It's either that or Snoop Dogg and Dre. I'm telling you, I'm not.
West Coast has had a good year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Of course, this has been the year of the West Coast.
Absolutely.
I believe that too. Yeah.
I heard Snoop when he was promoting the album. I watched an interview with him when he was talking about
that.
And
what about fucking the Eminem part?
That's the worst. Yeah, I know. But the worst part about that whole thing is Snoop now has to go on and talk about like, oh, it was the edibles, because that's how he says in that song. He's like, when Snoop put out the song, like the Drake song, I thought it must have been the edibles. Like he was ashamed of him. And then Snoop's like, it was the edibles. I just put out that song. I didn't know what Taylor made freestyle was, because he's like on the song too, on that Tupac song that Drake did, right? Like Snoop.
Yeah.
And so he like said he tweeted it out and he didn't know what it was. And he's cool with Drake, so he's just like, yeah, I just put it out. Then he's like, yeah, no, I didn't know what that was. And then after I had to call up Kendrick and be like, hey, man, I didn't know about that. Like, he was like, I was fucked up. Like, he literally said this in an interview. And so this guy's like, I don't like how people are trying to save face because of this guy, though. Like, it's Snoop. Like, you know what I mean? I get Kendrick's the new, like, West Coast guy, but
Snoop doesn't have to explain himself to nobody.
And his explanation was explanation enough. It wasn't him being like, oh, yeah, please forgive me. But his stories are funny. Snoop's a funny guy, but really, like, come on, man. I don't know if I believed that he didn't know what the song was when he tweeted it out. Like, come on. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was all fucked up.
Bro, I'm pretty sure a guy like him doesn't get fucked up anymore. He's permanently fucking fried. So it doesn't even affect him. Trust me, from somebody who's done it constantly, like that. Trust me, it doesn't affect you.
I don't know. I've liked his
doesn't affect your judgment. Yeah. I'm sorry what people say. If you know what song, I know I'm going to send you this song.
Right.
Yeah, I know what I've written on it.
That's what I mean. I'm like, why is everyone backpedaling for this guy? And then even Lil Wayne recently, Lil Wayne's like, I got on the phone with him and congratulated him for getting the Super Bowl thing. Yeah, okay, it's cool. But the person that's not getting a pass that's still getting shit on is Drake. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like how he's like, people are just gonna like turn a blind eye to this guy's success.
Well, the problem, you know what it is? I think it's just because Drake never did a reply. And I think at that point, with this album, at that point,
you're right.
People are trying
to follow
to
up for anything.
No, and he didn't go and subliminally diss anybody either, right? Like Kendrick went in there, he dissed fucking Lil Wayne a little, bro. He made sure that he covered their base, covered his bases, and he did it the right way and respectfully.
Right.
But it was well played.
I like the album. I'm just gonna say that right now. I think it's a great album. It might make my list. You don't know, but
you don't know.
It's a good album. It's a good album.
Honestly, that's my number 3.
Yeah. I can't hate on it. I just hate the situation. I don't hate on the album. It's a good album. No. And you know what? This is actually way better than his last album. I didn't like listen, I've been a Kendrick fan throughout his career.
No, but I like the one. What's the one with the minivan?
That's Good Kid, Mad City. That's my favorite album by him. That's what most people consider. That's the classic.
Yeah.
That's his.
That is classic.
It's his first big studio album. That's it. Everyone says that's it. Damn is very good as well. But the last one, the Mr. Morale,
I felt like Damn, he was just yelling around all the time.
It was. It was just a banger album in terms of so it was not like other Kendrick albums.
No,
this is more in line with what. But Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers or whatever it's called, the last album that he came out with a couple of years ago, I did not like it. I think it was a bad album.
Yeah. Eh?
I think it was.
I don't even think I listened to it, to be honest with you.
There you go. It came out during COVID, like early COVID. So I think it was 2022, maybe 2021, 2022.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to share music back then.
That's right. There you go. No, I just didn't like that last album. Yeah. So like going into this beef, I was like, bro, I don't even like your music anymore. Like in my opinion, right? And then he had a great year. So whatever. He had a great year.
It's what happens, man.
Yeah. So listen, coming in at number 3 for me is gonna be, let me just pull it up here. Sorry. Yeah, Joyner. Now I'm busy. I'm like right behind Jay, like my last couple of picks. I honestly forgot that this album came out this year, Jay. I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember we went to the concert this year, but it came out in early 2024, and like Jay mentioned, the way he does his rollout, we hear half the album in 2023.
Well, because I remember mentioning it on fucking last year's fucking review.
Right.
And I was so mad that the album, we thought it was going to drop in that last quarter.
But can I be honest with you? I love ADHD. This might be my second favorite album of his, though. This is a really good album. Like
this is deep too, bro.
Like no, but like performance wise and like the bangers that are on this album, like, and he goes off. Like they're like he is rapping like it's like he leveled up again on this album, and like the songs themselves, like they are all good songs that are good for, again, performing, which I was literally looking forward to seeing him perform a lot of these songs, and it just didn't turn out that way, right? But
Put Me On, bro. I'm ill,
bro. I'll tell you that. Put Me On. I'm ill. Like Broski's excellent.
Bro,
like,
that one will make you cry.
Song. Yeah, that one will make you cry.
Man.
That's not the banger, but like, what's that? Crazy. Sticks and Stones, crazy. Yeah. Like these are like, this is a really, really Three Little Pigs.
Cut you off.
Yeah. 24 Hours to Live. 24 Hours to Live. Watch the video for that. It's amazing.
That video alone should be winning awards.
Right. So like
it's like its own movie.
The energy that he has. This is an artist at the top of his game right now. This is what I'm saying. This is probably my second. It's battling it out for ADHD for me, because my his first album is my favorite. So, sorry, not a long genre, but the number one.
The phone number one.
Yeah. we always call it that. The number one.
The phone number one. Don't worry.
Who's remembering all that? That's my favorite album still.
Yeah.
But this is battling it out with ADHD for my second favorite. It probably is. I might right now. I actually went back and re-listened to this album. One of the few albums I went back and re-listened, because when I was doing my list, I was like, fuck, I forgot this came out this year, and I ran it back again. It's amazing. It's an amazing album. Despite that whole experience that kind of tainted it for us a little bit this year. Yeah. It's a great album. Yeah. And it's probably, like I said, probably my second favorite Joyner album behind his first one there. So the number one. So,
the number one.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, that one, because that one comes up every year. That Winter Blues on that number one.
I love that song.
That's what we get. I haven't had it yet this year though. It's actually been nice.
Yeah.
Notice, it's like no Winter Blues. I never felt like that.
If you get it, you know what song to run back. Right?
I know what song I'm gonna go fucking play over and over again.
Yeah. So that's my number 3. is Joyner. Not Now I'm Busy. So nice. There you go. How about your number 2?
My number 2, bro, is gonna buzz you out because I picked the Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Beautifully Broken, bro.
I expect
Beautifully Broken is a fucking great album. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. That guy's got to be probably the biggest
fans, bro.
He's probably the biggest artist out there right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like not even sorry. I'm just telling you straight up. This guy is on the top of his game. He is touring. I'm going to see him in March at Scotiabank. I'm not even going to go see him in Little Pussy fucking theater, bro. I'm going to see him at the Scotiabank, right, bro. Yeah. I'm not fucking around, right? Like the Beautifully Broken album. You know what? It just made so much sense for me this year. He hit it right on and hit every fucking spot that I needed in that sense when it came to.
Oh, he hit your G spot.
He got my G spot, bro. Okay, with this Beautifully Broken album.
And he's a nice person. Like everything I see of him, like he seems like very down to earth. Like honestly, he's like a very likable guy.
He's
like,
genuine.
Yeah.
Very genuine.
Yeah. Bro. Everything I've seen of him, like he opened up the thing for Eminem this year. Some of like one of his was it Lions or Detroit Lions? He did something. With
Eminem.
That
was the Detroit game. No, that was the Detroit game, but was in where were they when they were playing and fucking they put MGK on there. That one fucked it. There was Detroit playing. Oh fuck, I can't remember who it was, but they weren't in.
Well, he's from Cleveland, so it was probably the Browns.
It might have been the Browns.
Yeah, because that's MGK.
So it might have been the Browns, and he was playing there.
Okay.
and then Detroit came back and fucking won that game, right?
Okay.
They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
down. They were down too. That was I remember that fucking. That
right.
was this year too. That
Yeah,
game.
it must have been the Browns.
But
Then.
no, Jelly Roll's come on in a few different places, bro. He's popped up everywhere this
I know
year.
Eminem's like brought him and he performed something with him. I know too. Like
But you know what's funny? So he's got one with MGK. He's got one with Eminem. He's one.
getting a lot of love from the hip hop community.
Very much so, and people that don't like each other too.
Yeah.
Like MGK has totally changed his style up too this year. Like again,
he's a full rocker.
He's gone even more down to like even country in a sense, right? Where he's gone to more like soul type stuff and different, which is, you know what, a better look for him in a sense.
I just can't with him, honestly.
I mean, I've had enough with the tattoos. He's just too much.
He blacked himself out this year. Yeah.
He did everything but his face.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, does that count? Like, I mean, can you get in trouble? Fuck. But
if he did the face, I think he would.
You know?
I think it's a safe bet to say.
Oh man. But this song, I mean, everything from the beginning, from Winning Streak, bro, where he's basically talking about rehab and stuff like this, is that song there was what was I gonna say? It's nobody goes in on a winning streak, right? You never check, you never come in on a winning streak, bro. You never ask for help when you're on a winning streak. Right? You don't, and nobody does. They think it's gonna last forever, that fucking winning streak.
That feeling.
Yeah. And this was about remember, he's also talked in Congress. He's talked about a lot of stuff when it's come to opioid addictions and drug addictions and stuff like that. He had great videos for this album too, where he was showing people that have prospered from the people. What was the song? Where is it here? And they did a fucking thing. Well, they did the song with the Unpretty one. Unpretty is a great song, and that's the one where he had the music video with everybody's mugshot.
Oh yes, I heard of this.
And then who they've become after that, because you never become that. You're not that person. You can't be that person without going, like, you were that person, but you're not who you are today without that person. You know what I'm saying? Without that, the person that you were.
Yeah.
Right. And so you got to take everything good. Yeah. So he learned a lesson, and people have learned. He put everybody from Robert Downey Jr. to Tim Allen, their mugshots, all those old school bro, and that was pretty crazy.
I think
Tim Allen looked like fucking Geraldo.
I think it also speaks to like society now, how fast we are to basically outcast people as a result of, like, you know what I mean, the wrongdoings or whatever.
Yeah,
and push and cast them to the side. You know what I mean? Like, like if I'm not off track, but maybe by saying it that way, I'm not like as familiar with the song, but that's what it sounds like to me, right? I mean, if he's trying, like you said, everyone's complex. Like, we're not just, one note human beings, right? We're always right or we're always wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone's complicated, right? Their lives, their history, their story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're all very, different in that sense, right? So,
and this guy came in, I've seen him grow. I mean, I've seen him grow from it was an American Idol that he was on. I'm pretty sure it was American Idol. Really? He started off as, just going out there and putting himself.
Christine was telling me that his wife is very famous on podcasting now too. Like, she has like a very popular podcast.
She's pretty good looking person.
Yeah, no, I know, I've seen her, but she's like apparently got her own like she makes her own money doing this kind of stuff. It's not like she's riding his coattails. No. Like, apparently, like, she was popular. Apparently, I heard that the podcast was popping even before in terms of like his career in that sense. Like, she's been doing her own thing there for a while, right? Yeah. So it's really inspiring to hear that they their success, right? And like how it's going for them, right?
Yeah, no, and they just seem like they're everything is just in the up and up, right? Like, he's coming out on everywhere. He's coming out in other people's music. They're sharing a lot of different songs. Like, they're going on from one album, they'll take a part of this song from here, like a snippet, like Eminem took Save Me and he put it in his basically his chorus for his song, right?
Yeah. He did the Joyner song this year, better for me, is it called? Or what's that song that Joyner and him did on Joyner's album?
With Jelly Roll.
There's Jelly Roll, yeah.
Hold on.
Better for Me, I think it's called.
Probably.
I think that's what it's called. The Joyner Jelly Roll song.
Wait, hold on. I'm going back to it right now. I was just on it. So
Best for me.
Best for
Best
me.
for
Yeah,
me.
there you
I
go.
said better for me. Yeah. That song, he did the chorus on that for him.
Yeah, he did the MGK one, Lonely Road. Right, they went down and did Lonely Road. That one was
Oh, the old MGK song, Lonely Road?
Yeah.
Isn't that? It's one of his older songs.
Yeah,
Oh,
and-
he performed it with him.
Yeah, he performed it with him. And it's on the Beautifully Broken, the bonus one with the bonus track.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. I should listen to that.
It actually is really good. It's you got
Because I think that's an old MGK song.
Sorry, MGK's playing the piano in that one, so it's really good. He can play the piano. That
Oh, I know. He's a good.
He's talented. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I hate that he dissed Eminem.
I don't like who he is now, like as a person. Right?
I think he's better as this than he was when he was a rapper. I'll be honest with you right now.
Here's the thing. I've seen something recently with him where it seems like he's coming around and he's finally maturing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like he actually like spoke on like some stuff where I'm like, I respected him, like what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like when he basically left rap to go do this other thing.
Yeah.
Like after the Eminem, that was the worst way to go out.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly. So
you know what? He woke up on the wrong side of the fucking bed that morning and probably wrote a song that he's going to regret for the rest of his life. And I still think sometimes in some songs subliminally he throws that in there that he's fucked up.
Yeah.
He knows he fucked up on one, but he'll never get that.
No
respect back.
And he still drops freestyles now and then. Like I don't know if you've noticed. Like he hooked up with Cordae actually this year, and they put out like a freestyle of them just freestyling on the spot, like hanging out.
Yeah,
like he does that with people.
Yeah, and he's banging Megan Fox.
Sure, I mean that's his biggest accomplishment. Let's be honest.
He's having a kid with her. She's fucking nuts.
But now we're talking about MGK. But anyway,
Jelly Roll. Yeah, but Jelly Roll. Honestly, that was my number 2. That one and yeah, it just hit every fucking spot for me. It came out at a good time of year for me too. Sure. So, you know, it came out with that new perspective. So
perfect. My number 2, surprisingly, not to say that I mean it's not surprising. I'm a huge fan of this artist, but I wouldn't say that this project is like one of his better projects. But it just stuck with me, and then even when I was going by through my Spotify Wrapped, I noticed how much I actually played this album and the certain songs on it, and it did hit at the right time because this mixtape came out during the whole time period of the Kendrick and Drake beef, and although he bowed out early, J. Cole still makes my list, and I might delete this later. His mixtape that he came out with. Yeah, I might delete this later.
Okay.
This was the album that he had his diss toward Kendrick on and then deleted it after. Hence the name Might Delete This Later actually rang true in that sense. He bowed out of the beef very early after kind of already is trying to instigate something on his own terms. And because he also got called out in the sense with the whole Drake situation on Future's album by Kendrick, that kind of sparked up this whole beef or reignited it, let's say, because they've been sneak dissing each other for years, Drake and Kendrick. But like, you know, this is still a really solid project, I thought. And I just wanted some new music from J. Cole this year. And there's a lot of really great songs on this. And I liked it a lot. Like, so I'm surprised to put it at my number 2 because maybe it's not as good of an album as maybe even the M album or the Joyner album in that sense. But it's the one I think I listened to a lot of this year. And it was new J. Cole music, and right now he's in the process of probably doing his last album, he has said, called The Fall Off, which is like supposed to be like his exit, apparently. We'll see what happens. I just think he's a really good artist, and I hated how he took that loss this year where in a lot of people's eyes they lost a lot of respect for him because he bowed out of that whole beef. But you know what? That's very in line with his character as a human being. Like him saying, I don't want to lose a friend over this, and I'm not going to get involved in this any further, is actually speaks to, like, if you are a J. Cole fan and listener of him over the years, this is not behavior that I feel like is unexpected of him to be like, you know what, I take it back. He said it didn't sit right with his soul, him dissing Kendrick. The only thing about that whole situation is, and I couldn't defend him in the moment because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, J. Cole? Is because he's talked slick on records for a long fucking time that he's that guy. Like he's one of the best rappers out there. This was a time to prove that, and he bowed out. And I feel like if Drake had him in his corner, this beef would have been looked at completely differently. I think that they would have won.
You think so?
Absolutely. That's a hot take. I don't think I've ever shared that take. I think if J. Cole was still on his involved and Team Drake in that respect, because he got dissed along with Drake. Drake even fucking mentioned him on the song when he brought out his diss against Kendrick about how he basically bowed out, that he doesn't even need him in that sense, like, at that time. That he didn't, obviously wasn't too happy about it, and it doesn't seem like they've talked since then.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. I didn't go that. Yeah. I didn't know that deep into it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but there's this whole list of people apparently that they reported on that Drake unfollowed online. He was one of them, I think.
Watch out.
Yeah, which in today's, society, that's a big deal. Oh, you had followed them, right? So I don't
Especially
know.
you get somebody like Drake or somebody unfollowing you.
So honestly, I just think he's a great artist, and I'm really looking forward to his last album this year. He just performed. He just sold out and performed. He just did Dreamville, like his yearly, like annual, like concert, with all the Dreamville people that he does. He just sold out Madison Square Garden and performed. I think he did Forest Hills Drive, his best album by far. Everyone considers that his classic album. I think it was Madison Square Garden that he just sold out and performed it there.
Okay.
I hope that with this last album he tours here, because I would really like to go see him, and I hope you or someone will accompany me, because I really want to go see J. Cole again. I seen him at the start of his career perform here in Toronto, and he brought Drake out on stage. That's the only time I've ever gone to a concert that Drake was there, because Drake was also still starting his career at that time. I think he had just put out maybe his first album with Wayne, or he just got signed to Wayne, and they had a song together in those early days.
Yeah.
They're talking about like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I seen them both on a small stage in a venue, because he brought him out as the last guest of the night. After the lights went out, he did lights please.
Yeah.
Lights went out. Everyone started walking towards the door. Lights turned back on. This guy brought out Drake. He did one of his songs. He did the song that they both had together at the time, and then they closed out the show.
And they closed it out.
So I just remember good times with those guys too.
Oh, okay.
So like, J. Cole might delete later. I put it in my number 2. So
J. Cole.
Despite the L that he took this year from bowing out of the beef, I still like that album a lot. So.
Oh well, that's good that you at least you got it on there, major thing. So my number 1 is, where my number 1 is going, Eminem. Bro. Yeah, and it will be till the day I die. Anytime Eminem comes out with an album, I don't give a fuck if it's shit or not, because nothing is shit in my eyes. Yeah, that was my album, and that was the one I was waiting for. I wait for this fucking shit. If I gotta wait another 10 years for an album, bro, I'll wait another 10 years. But I can make do in the meanwhile. But honestly, this album itself, from beginning to end, just hit the spot. Right? It just hit the spot, because you know why? It was something I needed. I needed an Eminem album.
Right.
I got a Joyner album this year. When this came out, they teased it a shitload of times. They didn't bring anything out before, and you might have got the one song that came out, just to give you a little teaser. But and now too, he had a couple good videos that came out with this one too, where I like the way their concepts, the way they think now with these videos. I don't know if it's Lyrical Lemonade that does it, the guy who does those videos there, but they actually have a really good way of making these Eminem videos come to life. Like the way I would have pictured certain things in my head prior to older albums.
Cole Bennett is the guy that does this.
Cole Bennett, right? That's from the Lyrical Lemonade, right?
That's Cole Bennett is the guy who does basically all his videos now. Yeah.
I mean,
he also did the Jack Black Super Mario. He does the Bowser video with him where he dresses up as Bowser because he was the voice. It is so good. It looks like Elton John. Have you ever seen that video?
Where he's playing the piano? Yes.
And it's basically an Elton John video, but it's him dressed as Bowser. Yeah. But if you watch the video, that's what he's going for. It's an Elton John video, essentially, the way he's doing the piano. Yeah.
No, but honestly, yeah, he the visual concept that he has with the songs is something that needed to be added to an Eminem type of artist for the longest time, because Eminem's had such visual music that you can literally picture what that fucking, you're like, I wish I could just see like some of the fucking, if we
a lot of low production videos.
But if we could have gotten like from what's the first one there? What the fuck am I
about Trey?
No, but the first fucking album. Why am I forgetting it? The Real
Oh,
Slim
Slim
Shady.
Shady
Yeah,
LP. Yeah.
bro. If we could have got fucking songs like Kim and stuff like that, with
Right.
music videos back then,
Right.
and he would have brought those to fruition,
Right.
those would have been great to watch. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, they would have been their own fucking genre itself, probably.
I
and,
think
like,
that's a good idea. I think you should just go back and do that now. Why not? Right?
you know what I
There's
mean?
some songs that he doesn't have videos for.
No, but there's some songs, bro. You can't like the wording. You can't literally show that shit anymore.
I know.
But they should, because you know what I mean. He could put out something
plus
where
now
you
his
pay for
mother's
it.
dead, so there's a lot of shit about his mom in those songs now that like maybe he thinks he is even in bad taste to replay it now.
Well, you remember, right? And he's not a fucking 20-year-old kid
alive,
anymore.
but now she's dead. So
yeah,
like,
he's not a kid anymore either, too. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to, you know, he has yet to have grown up.
And he has it.
But he can still be Eminem, bro. He can still be what he wants, right? I mean, the fucking guy doesn't even have to leave his house, bro. You'll never know.
No.
He blends in so well, right? So, but yeah, honestly, I will never go against an Eminem album. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I will stick to it to the day I die. But that'll always be my number one if he has an album that year. So, and you can always guarantee.
Not surprised, yeah.
Always guarantee that fucking song. I might have listened. That might have been most of my listening at that part of the time when it came out, because nothing else really came out around that time, in that sense, that was good enough for me to listen to. Right when this came out, so it was just on repeat for me in my car and my fucking ears. You know, I was using my earbuds more than I would ever use them before. Right. So. But yeah, and there's not much more I can say about that one. I mean, it says it speaks for itself in that sense.
I also just wanted to add though, because I didn't mention it when I talked about it at my number 5 for this album, is I feel like the rollout for this, his team is got to be like one of the best. Like the rollout for this album and all the fun shit he does around the release of the album, even those videos where he's talking to himself with the Slim Shady version of himself, like his production team like is amazing. Like
next to none.
Yeah, exactly. Like he does a rollout of an album now, the last couple of albums, like no one else out there. And he definitely does always one of those surprise drops. Like you find out about it right before it comes out, because he has an art. He has enough. He is a big enough artist that he can do something like that.
Well, that's what I mean. He did that whole when they put this album out. What did they made it so that it was like a 60 minutes fucking thing, where it was like the documentary thing. They kind of did this for the Snoop and Missionary too, right now.
Everything around the actual promo for the album is some of the best like stuff I've seen all year, honestly. So it's great.
Yeah.
All right. So my number one, listen, this is a bit of a cheat, but you mentioned it a little earlier. It's not just GNX. GNX is part of it, but I'm gonna say the Drake Kendrick beef is my number one of the year. Okay. Honestly, and I
had a feeling you might have said that.
Yeah, because for me, it was the most interesting and fun thing that happened in hip hop this year.
Well, I think it helps solidify it too by me saying that the last one where I had to split those last two. Right. It kind of solidified that way of you thinking that, you know, because I understand. I knew you had to have Drake in there.
I always plan like you said, Drake didn't release an album this year. Yeah. So while I'm putting GNX in there, I want to clarify, it's not that I feel like GNX is my number one album this year. It would probably be a little higher up the rank, but it's in the top 5. Mm-hmm. But the reason I'm lumping it in here with this is because of these two artists' output this year, I want to put that at number 1. Specifically the beef, though. But the GNX album, as I mentioned when JT talked about it, it is a good album. It's a really good album. I really enjoy it. But I can't sit here. I will not give it number 1. But it's part of this. It's part of this category. I will say, yes. So it's part of the number 1. I'll even name off the songs. It started off with Like That on the Future Metro Boomin album. Went to Push Ups by Drake, Taylor Made Freestyle, Euphoria by Kendrick Lamar, 616 in LA by Kendrick Lamar, Family Matters by Drake. But it's by far, I think, is the best diss out of all of these songs.
Which one did they take off? Remember,
Taylor Made Freestyle was taken off because the Tupac estate.
Was that the one that 6? What the fuck was it called? Like that was the one.
That was Taylor Made Freestyle. That's the one where he used Tupac and Snoop and all their voices and shit like that. Like
I thought there was another one. No, I don't know if it was Taylor Made.
No, that was afterwards. Drake
released the
music after, and then there was a lawsuit or something for like one of the songs. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I heard it like quick, and that
wasn't a Drake. That so after like a month or two after he released like a bunch of music that he had like on a hard drive.
Yeah,
that was part of it.
Okay,
but that wasn't a song that had anything to do with the Kendrick beef.
Okay,
yeah. But Taylor Made Freestyle it was also removed, I believe. But yeah, Euphoria, 616 in LA, Family Matters, which again I think was the best diss of the whole battle.
Yeah, that was
This
a good
happened
one.
between April and May, all this stuff, by the way,
Yeah.
guys. But week to week, people were waiting for the drops. And it was conversation. The conversations that I had with people, even outside of regular fans of hip hop, was just fun to have.
Yeah.
Like people were coming up to me and talking about this.
Yeah,
with me.
you get shot at Drake's house now.
Right. Well, like that, just like I don't even know as fans of hip hop
Yeah.
or these artists in general were
Yeah.
talking about this stuff with me. So it was fun to actually. It was like a moment, like for like hip hop. Like
Well, it was and two because it was really Toronto oriented,
that's exactly
right?
yeah.
Which made it so much more touchy for
Right.
everybody
and
at
then,
home.
And then Drake, when he put out the Family Matters video, he literally was like in the Chinese food in the restaurant in Toronto that he talked about in his song Kendrick. So that he went and filmed it there. It was just such a like slick like, and then he took like the Good Kid, Mad City van, and destroyed it. There was just so many sick things that come out of this. He was wearing like the 50 Cent, the G Unit chain in his video, like listen, I'm more of a Drake fan than a Kendrick fan, clearly, but listen, he lost he may have lost the battle, but he's winning the war in terms of his career overall still. But he lost this battle. I'll admit it now. All right, he in the end, Kendrick just like. He just made him look bad with the whole pedophile angle. Like it's hard to wash that shit away, especially in today's society. He knew this. He really brought it home with that whole.
He hit it hard, yeah.
Like Not Like Us was one of the biggest bangers of the year, right? And I was about to get to that. So Family Matters, Meet the Grahams, Not Like Us, and then The Hard Part 6 by Drake, which was honestly the worst song in this whole beef. I don't know. I wish he didn't really make that song at the end and then kind of go out on the note he did. But between that and GNX, Kendrick had a great year. Even some of the music that Drake came out with wasn't Kendrick Lamar related. I thought he had some really good songs that he came out with this year, but no album to speak of. So I have to put the Kendrick Drake beef at number one for me because it was a great moment in hip hop. And you know me, I love beef. I love like rap beef type stuff.
Yeah.
I love this kind of music. It was with two artists that are at the top of their game that were going at each other, that weren't afraid to go at each other. It got really fucking ugly during this battle, and even bled into real life stuff happening with Drake, like you mentioned. People were actually but that was like with a Weekend beef apparently that was bleeding into this. He has beef with the Weekend or whatever. I don't know what's going on with all that, but anyways, that was the most entertaining thing in music for me this year. So I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to their beef and the music that they released during their beef or during this year. I'll give the top slot to those two because I think no matter how you felt about it at the end, because I know some people were over it or sick of it at the end and they felt like, listen, these are artists I enjoy and look at what they're doing to one another.
Yeah.
Didn't sit right with their soul, like J. Cole bowing out of the beef. Anyways, I still think it was entertaining, and like the conversations I had with people, that's all part of it as well. So
sure.
All right, that's it for our top five music. Let's go over our list. Let's repeat it again, Jay, for the people at home here.
So I got the Tyler Creator and the Corday Crossroad at number 5.
Okay.
Right. Yep. I got number 4. I had Joyner. Not Now, I'm Busy.
Yep.
Number 3, got Kendrick GNX. Number 2, Jelly Roll, Beautifully Broken. And number 1, the Eminem Slim Shady Coupe de Gras.
Yeah. Coming in at my number 5 for albums, you got The Death of Slim Shady. Coming in at number 4, got Corday, The Crossroads. Coming in at number 3, Joyner Lucas, Not Now, I'm Busy. Coming in at number 2, J. Cole, I Might Delete Later. And coming in at number 1 is Kendrick and Drake's beef this year. All the songs that entailed, as well as GNX for Kendrick's album that came out. So basically those two artists output this year. I got to put it at number 1. So
nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Those are top 5 music, guys.